All right, what's good? What's good? What's good? We're gonna talk about a few things. If my camera battery dies, then I'm gonna change out the battery while we're on stream. So if my face goes away, I hope you enjoyed it right now. Um, but we'll talk about how to fix your credit, um, and go from there. So this is just part one. It's gonna be simple, hopefully short. Simple, hopefully short. I'm outside, so you can expect a bunch of different angry people and honking and stuff like that. But let's get into this. So, if you want to, why should you fix your credit? Fixing your credit. I hate to be so blunt, but there's a term for fixing your credit. There's a term for people who want to fix their credit, and the blunt term is fixing credit is for broke people. And I like to flip it and say fixing your credit is for people who are not rich. So, because rich people can just pay for anything. So, what do you need credit for if you're rich? Unless you're bad with money, you should fix your credit just in case you go broke. But credit is to get things. It's to get loans from the bank. It's to get secured credit. I'm sorry, personal lines of credit. It's to get cars, houses, all credit cards, a bunch of these different things. Credit is used for so you can obtain things that rich people can get. Maybe not the same value, but you'll be able to obtain things in life. So what we're going to go over is what you should do before you decide to fix your credit. This is very important before we go through the process. So the first thing that you should do, and before we get into it, my credit is in the 700s. I fixed it like 2 years ago when I got my new job. Like really before that, it took about a year for me to get it all in order, and because it is it's a long process, and but if you're diligent enough, then you'll be able to do it. It's not hard, but if you want to pay somebody to do it, it's going to be more expensive. So it's up to you. But if you do it yourself, you understand why people charge so much. First thing you should do, my annualcreditreport.com. That's the first thing you should do, because even though we live in a digital world, you should print off your credit report before you touch it. Um, so on Google, all I did was type in annual credit report, and what popped up, annualcreditreport.com, the homepage, and it'll take you to this. I haven't been on here in a long time, so all you got to do is request your free credit reports right here, and you request your credit reports. You fill out this name, birthday, social security number, and all this information here. You click next, and it's going to ask for more information about you. I'm not going to fill it out because I believe you only get like 2 of these a year. And I don't want y'all seeing my social security number and stuff too. But what you do is once you fill this out, what's going to happen is they're going to give you your credit report with all your information, and it's going to be messy, but all your information from the three credit bureaus: Experian, Equifax, TransUnion, and you're going to be able to download them to your computer or your phone one by one. You download one, and go to next, download the other, next, and download the other. And you need to make sure you're downloading these and saving these, because what you want to do after that, you want to print them off. So you do this, and you want to print off your credit report from Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion, which is why they have this here. I could have sworn I just saw it. At the bottom right corner, Experian, TransUnion, Equifax. So that's the first thing you want to do. You need a hard copy of your credit just in case. It saved me recently, but you need that hard copy. Put it somewhere that you're going to put all your credit information. I put mine in like a backpack somewhere, but you're going to want to keep all this stuff. Um, that's the first thing. The second thing I'd like to tell you is that once you do that, I want you to understand something. You do have to pay to play in life. I'm a cheap person. I don't like paying for anything unless it's food. I don't. I'm not a person who just likes to go buy stuff. I'm a person who likes to save money, even if I'm not so good at saving. I just never been into paying a lot of money for something. So, but the understanding in life is that nobody's gonna give you anything for free. So Though you printed these off, though you saved these, it's a bunch of, if you got a lot of stuff on your credit, those papers you print off from annualreport.com is thick and they're messy. They're very, very messy, and they're not fun to look at. You're just keeping it as a backup plan. I use an app called MyFICO. MyFICO. I don't know if you're going to be able to see it. So first thing, let's type this in. I don't know if you can see that on the phone. That's MyFICO. I know it's backwards, but MyFICO. And if you download it, basically what's going to happen is you're going to be asked to pay to see your credit scores. I don't think I'm actually paying anything right now. Let me see. Subscription and billing. Okay, so right now, make sure none of my personal information. So right now, I'm not paying anything. You might be able to see where it says free. So I'm not paying anything, and with the free subscription, you're able to see one of your credit scores for one situation, basically one FICO model, one credit score. And as you can see, my Equifax says 695. This is all backwards. I'm sorry about that. That's what happens when you have a camera and you're using it to live stream and stuff like that. But just so you know, that's proof. That is my credit score for the free model. I used to pay for, so I stopped paying for the subscription because I got my credit score up to 700s. So I don't need to pay it no more. I'll pay it another time if things get bad, but for the most part, I ain't gotta pay it no more. So there's like 3 different tiers. I'm able to see that score right now. I think if you pay like $30, you can see 2 credit bureaus. I think if you pay $40, you're able to see all 3. And the purpose of this is that with this app, you're able to see everything on my annual report, but it's cleaner and it's more updated. And each credit bureau doesn't always show the same information. If you have an eviction, your eviction may only show up on Equifax. It may not show up on Experian. It may not show up on TransUnion. It just depends on when you got evicted, it depends on who they report to. So that's why this is important. Another important thing about MyFICO is that when we get into the disputing and stuff like that, you're going to want to know who to send this stuff to. If Equifax didn't report your eviction, you don't want to send Equifax a letter talking about your take off my eviction. There's no eviction there, and now someone may look at it and say, oh, you did get evicted, or they're just going to be like, I don't know what you're talking about. So you're going to want to know where to send these papers to and stuff like that when we get into that process. Another thing is with this app, there's something I want you to understand before I end this video, is that the purpose of people think that credit scores is just 3 bureaus, and that's the case, but it's not the case. I wonder if I can change this. So 1 second so y'all can see me. So it's the case, but it's not the case. A matter of fact, I'm gonna show y'all this app again because my screen was small. So here is my credit score that I already showed you. Subscription and billing, just to prove to y'all, free. I'm not paying anything, and this is the app. MyFICO. I know it's backwards, I'm sorry. But people think that there's only 3 credit bureaus, and there is, but however, there is MyFICO is important because there are categories. So just because you have a credit score of 700 on all 3 bureaus on here, it doesn't mean you can get everything. There's a FICO model, and FICO model is just categories. So if there's a FICO model for mortgages, basically homes. There's a FICO model for credit cards. There's a FICO model for auto insurance, basically cars. And then there's a other category as well. Let me see if I can show you. All right, so I dropped something. Hold on. One second. I don't want to sound crazy when I'm talking to y'all. All right, so you can see here it says score versions by loan type. It's backwards. I apologize. It says mortgage, auto, credit card, and new versions. So basically, if you click on one of those, if you're actually paying for it, if you're not paying for it, you're not going to see anything. But if you're paying for it, the mortgage is going to pull up the 3 credit bureaus, and those scores are going to be completely different than the regular scores you see on the home screen. You go to auto, those scores are going to be completely different than the mortgages. So basically, if you go to the bank and say, hey, I need auto insurance, if you've been using Credit Karma or whatever that other crap is, or that all this free stuff online, and they tell you, well, you don't have a high enough credit score. You say, well, Credit Karma says I have a 750 credit score. And they're going to say, no, your FICO score says you have a 600, and we can't give you this. So you don't want to go to the bank expecting to get something and be let down because the bank told you have something else. You have to pay to play. You can't be using all this free stuff. So that's why my FICO is very important. It shows you the different credit scores in each FICO model. FICO model is just categories. And it's important because it shows you everything in real time. And every month it will update your report if you're still paying on what has been eliminated after you disputed it, and things like that. My FICO is really good because also it's going to show misinformation. It's going to show old addresses, wrong phone numbers, old phone numbers, misspelled names, old jobs, all these different things. And you're able to see what you have in real time that you can dispute. So if you just want to check it out or anything like that, do a one-time payment of like $30 or $40. I can't remember the subscription price, but just do that one-time payment, and you'll be able to see all that. And you can cancel your subscription. Once you pay that one time and cancel your subscription, you'll see all that stuff as if you still have the full subscription for the next 30 days. So if you just want to make a one-time payment and cancel it, that's what I would advise that first, so you can actually see everything and then continue. Because later we're going to get into how I learned how to do all these different things. And if you can see actually, I'm so glad all right, so you can't see me no more, which is fine. You can't see me anymore, which is fine. I told you my battery might go out, but we'll get into this later, my credit system. Also, I know you gotta pay to play. I had to choose between paying some thousands of dollars with this lady for her to do it, which I wasn't gonna do, or paying $100 for this to teach me. And it will say all these different things, like you can see step 1, pull your credit report. We're gonna watch this.
Step 1. Pull your credit report. Before you can begin to fix, build, and maintain your credit, you must first determine what is being reported and how it is negatively affecting your score. AnnualCreditReport.com is the only source for free credit reports authorized by federal law. When you visit this website, you will click on the button, Request Your Free Credit Reports. To maintain the security of your file, you will be asked for some information that only you would know, like the amount of your monthly mortgage payment. Each credit bureau may ask you for different information because the information each bureau has in your file may come from different sources. You will need to answer identification questions to verify your identity. Once you do, you will be given access to your credit report and have the opportunity to print or download your credit file. If you answer a question incorrectly, you will be blocked from pulling your credit file and will be instructed to mail a photocopy of identification documents to prove your identity. This process could take more than a week to complete. AnnualCreditReport.com also does not provide you with credit scores. The two most common credit scoring models are FICO and Vantage. FICO has been a 30-year industry standard, and 90% of lenders use the FICO score.
I'm gonna pause this for a second so y'all can see my face again. I'm so sorry, I apologize. Had to change my battery. All right, continue. And yes, you won't see your credit scores on my annualreport.com.
Model. We recommend myfico.com as an alternate source to annualcreditreport.com. You should purchase the Premier plan, which will give you access to your credit report.
This is what I was talking about. I forgot this showed all this information, but this is what I was talking about. These are the different tiers and what you will see with my FICO app.
From all three bureaus, as well as your FICO scores. This helps you not only see what is reported on your credit file, but you also receive your FICO scores for each credit bureau. MyFICO.com will also require that you answer a few identification questions before you are given access to your credit file and scores. An advantage with using MyFICO is if you get an answer incorrect and get blocked from your credit file, you can call MyFICO customer service, and they will assist you over the phone and help you gain access to your credit file immediately. For speed and efficiency, we recommend purchasing the MyFICO Premier plan.
All right, so we watched that video. This is mycreditsystem.com. Save up the $100. It's worth paying for. I didn't enjoy wanting to pay for it, but it was COVID. I had the 100, and I was like, you know what? What's it gonna hurt? Why not fix my credit? And the main thing was killing me with student loans. And I'll get into the student loan thing. Times have changed, so maybe I should have done this earlier. But I think student loans are the hardest things to get off your credit report. So I kind of go over everything regarding credit that has everything except for student loans, because student loans deserves its own little section. And so we'll go over that later. But for now, I just wanted to let you know the different things you should do before you even try to fix your credit, because people tell people, oh, all you gotta do is send letters, or, oh, my Credit Karma said this, and people are just, y'all are doing a bunch of, this is not something you can skip steps on. You have to do it step by step by step by step. This is not gonna happen tomorrow. Give yourself 6 months at least if you're diligent, okay? And you'll see some progress. But this is for evictions. This is for medical, if you went to the doctor for something and you didn't pay that bill. This is for if you owe somebody some money, like I owed my college, not my student loans, but I owed my college some money in order to get my degree. I graduated, but I owed them some money. Those are, and I probably already said evictions, insurance, probably car, maybe a house or something like that. But we'll go over those things later. But for right now, annualcreditreport.com, myfico.com, they have an app. Annual Credit Report is free. MyFICO has tiers. So just print off annualcreditreport.com and get MyFICO. And I'm going to go over part 2 on what we should do after that. So I appreciate y'all for listening. Once again, it's Dee Brown, LTD. Hopefully this helps you in the future, and we'll go over this periodically, okay? Deuces.